So hope you are able to see the slide. So today's discussion is on measuring effectiveness of promotions. So till now we have discussed about various types of promotions, advertisements, public relations, direct marketing, sales promotion, publicity, right? So various types of promotion that we have discussed. So marketers involved in different types of promotions. So there is a need of measuring the effectiveness of these promotions. So how well these promotions went on. Say they would have certain objectives, purpose. So whichever promotions are done by the marketer, so there is specific objectives behind such promotions, and marketers have to measure that whether they have been able to achieve these objectives or not. So that is about measuring the effectiveness of promotions. So why we have to measure these promotions? Why marketers have to measure the effectiveness of promotions? To avoid costly mistakes. Avoiding costly mistakes means, as we have seen, that all these promotions involves huge investments. A lot of cost is involved, whether it is advertisement, whether it is direct marketing, whether it is sales promotion. So they will have to invest a lot, and whether that investment is worth, whether their strategies have worked, whether they have been able to achieve the objective which was decided before implementing that promotions. So that has to be ensured. Otherwise what? So that investment, the cost that is involved in these promotions is not giving you any returns. So it becomes a big mistake. So that should not happen. So it should not go waste. The investment that is made in promotion should not go waste. So they have to measure the effectiveness of promotions. Only if they find that these promotions are really work, they are going to implement the same strategies in the coming years. Suppose they find that in a particular year they are not able to get the required returns in their promotional activities, then they can change their strategy. When they come to know that their strategies are not working, the promotions are not being effective, then they can change their strategies. So they have to know whether they have to continue with these strategies or they have to change it. So how do they know? Unless and until they are measuring the effectiveness. So it is a must that all the marketers who are involved in various types of promotions, they have to measure the effectiveness of these promotions. Evaluating alternative strategies, they would have we have seen that marketers involved in different types of promotions, as we have already discussed. So these are different strategies of promotion. So which strategy worked well? Whether it was advertisement, whether it was public relation activities, whether it was direct marketing, whether it is sales promotion, which of these strategies really did well compared to the other? So this evaluation, if it is done, then they can focus more on those strategies which are giving more returns, right? So that evaluating of alternative strategies, so it will help them to take better decisions in the next year on promotions. Increasing the efficiency of advertising in general. Overall, it is about advertisement effectiveness. How do you increase the efficiency? You come to know where you have not been able to do well, whether the media was not effective, right? Whether the source was not effective, whether the message strategy was not effective. So these changes can be done only when you are evaluating the effectiveness of promotions. Determining if the objectives are achieved or not. So whether your objectives have been achieved through these promotions need to study. So that is the various reasons why marketers have to measure the effectiveness of promotions. Reasons not to measure. Why, in spite of these factors which makes marketers to measure the effectiveness of promotions, there are certain cases where they do not measure it. So why it is that? So cost is involved. Again, if you want to measure the effectiveness, there is cost involved. You have to spend, so you'll have to do the research, you have to find out, you have to involve people. So that involves cost. So why unnecessary bear more cost? That is some something like that, and they do not go with measuring the effectiveness. Research problems are there. So all the research, it is not that 100% accurate. So research problems are there. Okay, so that may be another reason where it is found that research will not give the exact picture. Okay, so that research problems may be there. Disagreement on what to test. So in promotion, there are different things that can be tested. So you can test the source of the message, source of the communication. You can measure the medium. You can measure the strategy that you have implemented. So which one to test? So there is a disagreement on that. Creative part of the advertisement. Which one? Which one has to be tested? So that the people involved in this, they don't come to a consensus as which one to be tested. Objections of creative. So as we have seen, mainly in advertisement, there are creative people, right? So they have an objection saying that, we can see that a advertisement may be very creative, very attractive, very entertaining, or something totally different. So if you're testing that, if you're considering creative as the main factor for evaluating the promotions, in that way you may be coming up with a very great advertisement. But ultimately, what is that is required from any promotions? It is sales, right? A creative advertisement may or may not create sales. It may create awareness. People may remember that advertisement, but if it does not result in sales, what is the use of that creative advertisement? So that is what. So a very good advertisement which is very creative may not yield sales. So in that sense, the evaluators may say that the advertisement is not at all effective. So this goes against the creative people who have worked for that advertisement. So that is what they object. So the evaluation parameters are not right. Right? So like that. So that is the objections. Time factor is there. So this takes time. Measuring the effectiveness of promotions, it will take time. By then, in market, you don't have that much sufficient time to measure. So there is competition going on. You may have to take the next steps. You have to involve in various other activities. So sufficient time is not there. So that may be another reason why people do not measure the effectiveness of advertisements. So as we have seen in the previous slide, that what to be tested. So that is people don't come to a consensus as what to be tested. So there is, you can measure the effectiveness of source factors. Source in the sense, the brand ambassadors, right? So those people, whether you can measure the effectiveness, whether you have used the right brand ambassador for your promotions. Message factor, the message that you have decided to communicate, whether that is being effective or not. Media strategy, the media that you have chosen for the promotions, whether that was right media, budget, the investment that you have made. So you can vary in the investments, you know. So whether whether it was the right investment that you have made, whether it should have been more, whether it should have been less. So that is that. So which one to be tested? So that has to be decided. When to be tested? So broadly, when to be tested, it may be done before the promotions is actually implemented or after the promotions has been done. So if it is before the implementation of the, after the implementation of the promotion, if you are testing, that is called as post-testing. So that has to be decided by the marketers. Where to test? That is another question that has to be answered. So again, here broadly there are two types. That is laboratory tests are there and field tests are there. Field test. Laboratory test is in the controlled environment. Okay, we'll be seeing about some of the tests in laboratories in the coming slides. And also in laboratory tests, they may use some of the devices to measure something like the pupil dilation, eye tracking devices, galvanic skin response. These are different devices to measure the response of respondents to a promotions. So that we will be discussing more in detail in the coming slides. Field tests are conducted in the realistic situations. So some of the tests related to field tests also we'll be discussing. So that has to be finalized, whether you are conducting laboratory tests, whether you are conducting field tests. How to test, which stage of advertisement development or which stage of promotion developments that you are going to test. So we can see different stages in the development of an advertisement. For example, say concept generation. At the stage of concept generation. So concept generation is where the concept of the advertisement is being developed. So they have not come up with anything. They have developed a concept. So any advertisement in the beginning, they have to come with an idea as what is the advertisement all about. Okay, so they have to decide on what will be the source, what is the media that they are going to use, which is the message that they want to communicate, who will be the target audience. So this is just a concept. Okay, it is just written in black and white. So it is just a concept. So that stage is called as concept generation stage. So you can test the effectiveness there itself. So that stage itself you can test. Or next stage is rough pre-finished art, rough copy of the advertisement. After the concept generation, you are coming up with a rough copy of the advertisement. Okay, so if it is a print advertisement, then you will be writing it in a rough copy. It will be now we have systems, softwares, so you may design the advertisement as how it will look. It is not final copy, but it's a rough copy. So at that stage you can test it. Pre-finished art, similar thing. Copy, commercial testing, copy or commercial testing. So that can be done. Copy means same thing. It's not fully developed, but just a rough copy it is there. So that stage you can be tested. Finished art or commercial pre-testing. Finished. So at this third stage, the advertisement has been already developed, but it is not implemented. It is not telecasted. If it is a broadcast advertisement, it is not telecasted. If it is a print ad, it is not published in newspaper. Before that, you can test it. So, but it is finished. Everything it is finished. Okay. So that's stage. Broadcast means the video, everything has been, advertisement has been developed. So at that stage, it can be tested. Market testing is post-testing. After the advertisement has been implemented, after the promotion has been implemented, you are testing the effectiveness. So that is market testing. So that is how we can, various stages of advertisement can be studied. all it cannot be done. Say if people are thinking that we can test it in every stage, it is not possible, because that involves cost and time and efforts. So that much time is not there. So you have to decide where, in which stage of the advertisement you want to test it. Concept generation testing. So here, what are the text? What is that you are testing? You are testing, as you know, what would be at this stage, as I already told, it is just a concept has been generated about the advertisement or promotions. So here you are going to test how will be the response of the audience, the target audience. What will be the response? Okay, so that you are trying to evaluate. So here, if it is a print advertisement, you are going to check whether the headlines are effective, whether it can attract the audience, illustrations, the graphics that is being used. All this, it will be in the rough stage. A rough sketch is developed, and that is measured here. So how to do that? You may do focus group. Focus group may be used. So I hope you remember focus group. So in research, we have discussed about in the second semester business research methods, we have discussed about focus group. So focus group is a group of 6 to 10 people where they are being given a topic for discussion freely. The time may be 30 to 45 minutes, and they are asked to discuss freely on this topic. So they come up with different idea. So here, this illustration is shown to them. The rough idea of the promotion is given to them, and they are asked to give their opinion for it. So you get an idea as what will be the response of the target audience. So these are the sample size. The people who are involved in focus group are the respondents, sample respondents. Or an interview may be conducted among the respondents. A group interview may be conducted, or one-to-one interview may be conducted to get their response for this concept of promotions. So that is one way of testing. Then the next stage is rough art or copy of commercial that you are going to test. Commercial in the sense advertisements. Okay. So here, compared to the previous one, this test at this stage, if you're testing, it involves more cost, because you are coming to the next stage of the development of the promotions or advertisements. So you are spending more time, and you are paying more, or you are spending more there. So more cost is involved here. So how will the advertisement look? It may be animations. The advertisement may be in the form of animations. Okay. Suppose you are coming with a broadcast ad, you are using some celebrities there. So at this stage, you are not calling them and videographing all that. Okay, it's something like a movie direction. You can developing an advertisement. Something is like a movie direction, where the characters are called, the celebrities are people who are there. So it will take time. Say if it is say 2 minutes advertisement. Okay, they will have to picturize for several hours. Several hours of videograph is required. Takes and retakes will be there. So at this stage, that is not been done. Okay, they have not come to this stage here. So whatever whoever is the character there, character or the celebrities or the spokesperson is being used in that particular advertisement. So they will use animations. If it is Amitabh Bachchan, they want to use it. So they are not inviting Amitabh Bachchan here and they are videographing whatever he wants to say. No, at this stage they will draw the picture of Amitabh Bachchan as how he will be there and what will be his acting, and all this will be done in animations. Or it may be photos they may be used to give a picture. It may be in a sheet of paper, or now we have systems, softwares are there. So that will be done in the system as how the advertisement will look. So here that may be tested, whether that will be effective. Lab setting may be used for this purpose. So in this, there are two types of tests that is done. That is, one test is comprehension and reaction test. So comprehension and reaction test, as the test name suggests, comprehension in the sense whether the target audience will be able to comprehend or understand the message that is being communicated through these promotions. The message. So as we have seen, all these promotions are communications, right? They want to communicate. The marketers want to communicate something. So there is a message there. So whether this message that the marketer wants to communicate, whether that is able to understand by the target audience or not, so that is what is being tested here. And reaction. What would be their reaction to the advertisement? Whether they would be excited, whether they will be an inquiry in their minds, whether it will create a curiosity, whether it will generate a desire to buy. What is their reaction after seeing this advertisement? So that is what they are going to, those are the evaluation parameter for this test. So they may conduct interviews or group interviews or focus group to test this. So the sample, the respondents may be from 50 to 200 for this type of test, comprehension and reaction test. Another one is consumer juries. Consumer juries is you are not involving the respondents here. So in the first one, there are respondents and they are interviewed or focus group is conducted among them. In the second one, it's an expert who's been called, an expert in the field of promotions, in the field of consumer research, who is having more knowledge on the consumer behavior. So such experts are called and they are going to be asked their opinion about this rough art or copy of the commercial. Understand? So they are asked to tell their opinion about this rough art copy that is being developed in this stage. So here, chances are that there may be a halo effect. Halo effect in the sense generalizing the findings, generalizing. So he may find that one part, he may feel that the expert may feel that the source factors are effective. Say the celebrity who is being used in the advertisement is really good. Then he will conclude that all the advertisement it is as a good thing. So actually, when you are evaluating an advertisement or promotions, you have to see various other factors also. It is not just the source factors. You have to see the source factors. You have to see the message factors. You have to see the effectiveness of the medium, right? So all these things you have to evaluate. But here, chances are that it is not that always just because of one element in the promotion is good enough, what the expert finds is really good, he may say that overall the advertisement is good or effective. And also there is some level of subjectivity may happen in this evaluation because he is an individual. So there may be certain preference for a specific type of advertising based on the interest of the expert. So that are the possibilities in consumer juries. That is a type of disadvantages in this type of evaluation. Otherwise, such tests are done. Okay, consumer juries. Then the next is pre-testing of finished advertisement. So at this stage now, what happens is the advertisement has been developed. Okay, it has moved from rough copy to the developed stage. So the advertisement has been already developed. If it is a print ad, how will be the print ad? It is exactly developed. And if it is a broadcast ad, the 2 minutes or 3 minutes commercial has been fully developed. So at this stage you are testing. So portfolio test may be done and readability test may be done. Portfolio test is for the this is about the print ad only we are talking about. So portfolio test is based on the lab test. It is in a controlled environment where people are called and they are asked to see the advertisement, and they are going to measure the effectiveness of this ad based on their recall. After reading the advertisement, whether they are able to recall the message in that advertisement. And the disadvantage of this portfolio test is recall may not be the best criteria. Okay. So that is one of the demerits of this advertisement. And the individual's interest, the people who are involved, the respondents' interest will influence their testing, and also they may become more conscious as it is a laboratory test, as people are called into a place and they are being asked to see a particular advertisement and they are being asked to give a response for that advertisement, they will become more conscious. So that is the disadvantage of portfolio test. Then readability test. Readability test involves usage of a formula called as Flex formula. So here in this formula, it calculates the number of syllables in the print advertisement. Syllables is a word which contains word, say characters like A, E, I, O, U's. Okay, any of these which contains these words are called as syllables. So how many number of syllables are there for 100 words? So that based on that there is a calculation. Here again there is no use of respondents. In the previous test, portfolio test, the respondents are called and they are asked to give the opinion about the advertisement. But here respondents are not involved. It's the usage of formula. Here the advantage of this test is no interview bias is there. There is no chance of bias. But it becomes a mechanical process. So that is what about readability tests. Then pre-testing of finished advertisement. Finished. Now the advertisement is complete, and here in this stage of advertisement, dummy advertising vehicles may be used. Dummy advertising vehicle means where this advertisement is published in a newspaper or a magazine, but this is not being circulated among the mass. It's a dummy. Okay, it's a dummy newspaper or magazine. So the advertisement is published there. So this is again the pre-testing stage. Pre-testing means before the implementation of the promotions or advertisement. So that's why dummy advertisement vehicle is being used. So it is an improvement over the portfolio test. Random samples of homes. So how this test is done is they will identify few homes, selected homes, residences. Okay, and they will speak to them in advance and they will say that we are going to circulate some magazines or newspaper. Okay, and they will tell the objective purpose also. We want to measure the effectiveness of a particular advertisement. So that will be done, and they will be circulating these dummy newspapers and magazines. There will be articles and newses as usual, but these are not circulated among the other audiences who are not involved in this particular study. So selection of these homes is random. Randomly it is selected, and it is in a more natural setup. So we were talking about lab setup. The portfolio test is in the laboratory setup. So this is in the field test, in the home of the respondents, right? So that is the difference here. And once they read these dummy newspapers and magazines, after a few days, the researcher will be inquiring about their recall of the advertisement, whether the message they have understood or not in the advertisement. They will be testing that factors. Chances are that there is bias may be there, as the respondents know that they are been testing, and certain element of personal bias may be there. No guarantee of impact. So if it is found through such tests that advertisement are really good, it may or may not have the real impact when it is launched full-fledged. Pre-testing of finished broadcast ad. So till now we were discussing about the pre-testing of print ads. So now broadcast ads. Broadcast ads are the advertisement that come in the television and television and radio. So here, how it is done? Pre-testing. Pre-testing, as you know, it is done before the implementing of the advertisement campaign. That is before it is telecasted. Okay, so now how it may be done? It may be done in the laboratory setting, something like theater test. A theater test is one example, one type of test. Okay, so here the participants are invited to a hall, like cinema hall. Cinema hall. So they are being invited. So how they will invite, how they will get in touch with the respondents? It is something like mall intercept. Mall intercept is something like shopping mall. These researchers will be there, and when the people are coming out of the mall, they'll just go and interact with them, and they will ask them to come to a to a cinema hall. Okay, they will tell the purpose that they are testing a commercial, and some benefit would be passed on to the customers. Okay, they may get some free movie ticket or some gift they may get. So that is what they attract the respondents to such situations. So 250 to 600 such participants would be invited to a theater, movie theater, and there the advertisement will be telecasted. A movie may be there, a popular movie, something like Titanic, or some recent movie will be telecasted. Along with that, this commercial also will be telecasted. At the end, so free of cost, the respondents will get a chance to see the movie, popular movie. And finally, they will be tested on their brand preferences and sales that would happen after the commercial is viewed by these people. So disadvantage, it becomes too artificial. So as the people are invited and they are asked to sit in a movie theater, and they feel that they have to give a favorable answer. Say when they are asking about brand preference, they know that they are being tested for this purpose. So even if they don't have any preference, they may tell that they like their brands because they have been invited, and they will be giving something, a gift, or they are getting the free movie tickets. Is it not? Chances are that in that way the test findings may not be accurate. So that is theater test. Then on-air test. On-air test is here it will be the that advertisement will be telecasted in selected area. Suppose if it is a advertisement that is meant for whole throughout Karnataka, they may select only few regions of Mangalore region. Some may be identified, and in the local cable network they will telecast this particular advertisement. among a selected identified homes, and after that they will be interviewed, they will be surveyed, the respondents will be surveyed on whether they remember the advertisements. So that is on-air test. That is the difference between on-air test and theater test. The theater test is laboratory settings. This is in the field settings, on-air test. Pretesting or finished, and another is physiological measures. Physiological measures may be done. So this is not that common. It's not a common measurement, and the responses are collected involuntarily, without, even if the respondent wishes or does not wish, the response will be collected through physiological measures. We will see how it is through various devices. Okay, so this is done to eliminate the bias. Biasness will not be there in this type of test. What are the type of devices that is being used to measure the response? One is pupil dilation. Pupil dilation is a test. Okay, pupil dilation is a test which uses pupillometrics. Pupillometric is a device which measures the size of the pupil. Pupil is the part of the eye, the eyeball. The eyeball, it measures, this particular device measures the size of the pupil, the eyeball. Okay, the contraction and expansion. The eyeballs expand and contract. That we don't see in humans as much. We don't find the difference much. But in animals, we can see, if you have a pet cat at your home, you can see the black eyeball of the cat, it changes its size. Hope you have observed it. Right? In the dark, it becomes wider. In the daytime, in the bright sunlight, the pupil of the cat becomes very thin. Is it not? Similarly, it is also associated with the emotions, our feelings. Okay, so the pupil contracts and expands based on our feelings and set of moods. So this particular device will measure that expansion or contraction, and it will measure how we are feeling about that particular advertisement. So these devices will be fixed to a system, a television or a computer, and it will measure the audience response to a particular advertisement, whether they are interested in that particular advertisement, whether they are feeling bored. Right, so this type of measurement is done. They are not asking any questions, they are not filling any questionnaire here. Everything is measured through that pupillometric device. It may be to measure the product package design. Product package designs are measured through pupillometrics. So how attractive, if the product packaging is very attractive, the eyeballs will be of certain size, and that will measured by this pupillometric that the audience are very attracted to the product design. So the disadvantage of this pupillo dilation test is that it involves high cost, because it involves these devices which is expensive. Then there is another test using galvanic skin response. Galvanic skin response is a device which will measure the feelings and emotions of the respondents based on the sweat in the skin. Our skin sweats. There is sweating in the skin. So what is the feeling and emotions is measured based on the quantity of the sweat in our skin. So here galvanic skin response is a device, something where devices will be attached to different parts of our body, something like ECG. If you have seen how ECG is measured, right, for checking the health of the heart in a hospital, you may find that specific devices are plugged to our body. Similarly, in galvanic skin response, such devices are attached to our body, and the respondents are asked to see a particular advertisement, and what is his feelings and emotions while seeing that advertisement is measured based on this device. Then there are other devices saying like eye tracking. Eye tracking measures the movement of eyes. Our interest, if we are interested in something, we will see that for with lot of concentration. If we are not interested, we will be distracted, and that is reflected in the eyes. We will not be that focused. So this eye tracking devices measures that. Okay, whether you are interested in that particular advertisement, whether you are not interested, so that is measured through eye tracking devices. It may be fitted in the television sets of the people who have been involved in this particular study. Then brain waves, a device that measures the brain wave. So several plugs will be plugged into our head part devices, and these respondents are asked to see a particular advertisement, and what is their emotions, what are their feelings. So that is measured through this. That is called as EEG measures. EEG, electroencephalographic measures. So these are the different devices that is used for measuring the effectiveness of finished advertisement. Then the post-testing. So till now what we have discussed was pretesting of broadcast and print advertisement. Post-testing of print advertisement, we have inquiry test, recognition test. Inquiry test is where the respondents, so here the advertisement is done and it is being published in newspaper and it is there in the market. After implementing the advertisement, this test is done. So in the inquiry test, the respondents are asked whether they have seen this particular advertisement or not. That is the measure of measuring the effectiveness of advertisement. So if they have seen, then it is, if they remember that particular, if they are able to tell that they have seen that advertisement, then the advertisement is considered as effective. Recognition, they are asked whether they recognize this particular product or the company which is being advertised. So these are the two types of post-testing of print advertisement. Here chances are that the respondents may claim that they have seen it because they are being interviewed or surveyed. So they become sensitive while responding. So that is the disadvantage, especially the recall test. So when they are whether they are asked, they will when they are asked whether they remember, even if they have forgotten, they will tell that yes, we remember that product, because they feel that if they say that they don't remember, something is against them. So that feeling may be there. Degree of involvement is also matters. Degree of involvement of respondents in that situation matters their recall or recognition. of that particular advertisement. Then market testing, post test of broadcast commercial. The previous one what we have discussed was about the print advertisement. Broadcast commercial, how they will test day after recall tests, after the commercial or advertisement is broadcasted in the televisions. After one day, the selected respondents will be asked whether they were able to recall the advertisement. So here chances are that the people the recall may be influenced by the program that is being viewed during or after the commercial. So that may influence pre-recorded sampling, because here in this case the people are interviewed are the people who have been identified for the research, so they become more conscious about the advertisement and their recalls may be higher. So these are the disadvantage of this day after recall test. Then there are measures like persuasive measures. In the persuasive measures, the respondents are the effectiveness of advertisement is measured based on the brand preference of the respondents. So that is the evaluation criteria. Then diagnostic tests. The evaluation criteria of advertisements are based on the recall, whether able to recall the advertisement, whether they are able to, whether that advertisement influences them to purchase, and whether the message is understood by the target audience. Comprehensive measures is based on the where the respondents are able to comprehend the message that is being communicated through the advertisement. So that is a evaluation criteria. So these are the different tests based on the evaluation criteria of advertisements. Okay, persuasive measures, diagnostic test, comprehensive measures. Okay. Then test marketing. In the test marketing is the product sales is measured in a particular region after the advertisement. So the sales is measured. Single source track studies is a group of respondents are studied over a period of time. Their purchase pattern of the products is studied, and the influence of advertisement is studied on their purchase. So that is how they are evaluating the effectiveness of advertisements. So that those are the various types of tests that is involved in measuring the different types of advertisements. So we have seen, we can measure the effectiveness of advertisements or promotion at different stages. So all it is not possible. So it depends on the marketers, when he is going to test, how he is going to test, based on his resources that is available for him. It is time, the capital, and the need. All those factors are involved. So at different stages it may be tested, and different types of tests, that is post-test and pre-test, may be used. And within that there are different evaluation criteria and different types of tests that is involved. So based on the various factors, the marketers will identify a particular test and measure the effectiveness. And there are certain requirements for effective testing. How does a marketer ensure that the test that is going to conduct is effective? So for that, these things are necessary. He has to be very clear about the communication objective. What is the objectives of these promotions has to be very clear. So we have seen that advertisements, for example, may have different objectives. Some advertisements are created to create awareness. Some advertisement is being created to build the brand image. Some of the advertisements have the objectives of highlighting the brand attributes. So on. each of these different communications has a very specific objectives. So that should be very clearly understood by the marketer. So that is what we are going to test after the advertisement is being done. Use a consumer response model. So we have discussed about a consumer response model. So we have said something like, say, IDA model, awareness, interest, desire, action, IDA model. So that is a type of consumer model. So that has to be followed in evaluating the test, evaluating the commercials. Use both the pre-test and post-tests. We have seen several pre-tests and post-tests. So if you want to be more effective in your testing, then you have to use both pre-test and post-test techniques. Use multiple measures, use more than one test to be more effective in the testing. So these are the essentials for effective testing.